So tell us a little bit more about the root chakra and what it symbolizes as well.
Okay, so the root chakra, as I mentioned, it's our base chakra. It's our foundation, and it points down towards earth, and the element is actually earth. The color is
Mm,
red. I mean, that's like a fictional color, but like
right.
the red actually, it's not fictional because the vibration of it actually is red in color and the frequencies and stuff. But like, it's not like if you're looking inside, you're going to see like a red glowing ball. But that's what we do use to envision when we're trying to focus on this chakra.
Welcome to the Self-Care Goddess podcast, where healing stories, practical self-care strategies, and science-backed tools to regulate stress, feel calm, grounded, and energized come together to help you reclaim your vitality. I'm your host, Rita Savoya, holistic nutritionist, trauma-informed breathwork coach, and founder of Breathwork Barista. This podcast is for women who are ready to restore their energy and radiance, reconnect with their bodies, reawaken their inner power, and redefine self-care as a way of being. Through science meets soul practices, restorative mind-body tools, and real stories of transformation, we'll explore how true well-being can help you live with more joy, vibrant health, and authentic connection to yourself and those you love. Take a deep breath in, let it go, and let's begin. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Self-Care Goddess podcast with today's theme, Rooted in Wellness, foods and lifestyle tips to ground and balance your root chakra. This is going to be an exciting series of these episodes. I'm very, very happy to be here and to share this amazing information with my podcast guests. But as we know, let's settle into the space and really tune out what's going on and tune in with our bodies. Perhaps if you feel comfortable, lowering your gaze or even closing your eyes and just following your breath, flowing in through the nose and out through the nose. Couple of rounds of these breaths and really channeling the exhales in any parts of your body that you might be feeling some tension, some stress, some tightness. Allow the exhales to perhaps soften or loosen up those areas. I now invite you to follow your breath in the area of the heart. So channel your inhales and exhales in the area of the heart, energizing this beautiful organ that's keeping you alive. And as you continue these heart-focused breaths, I invite you to visualize someone that you're grateful for today. Living or past, visualize this person as if they were right here in front of you. And I invite you to send them all the love, the gratitude, and the appreciation for being in your life. And now I invite you to turn the attention onto you and give yourself some love, some gratitude, and appreciation for everything that you do for yourself, for others, for your community, for being here and taking the time out of your busy day to tune in to this amazing information we're about to share. On your next inhale, I invite you to breathe in, hold it at the top for 2, 3, 4, and then release with a sigh. Beautiful. Slowly flutter your eyes open and join us. Thank you for participating in that heart coherence technique to just get us into coherence with our heart, our mind, our body, and each other. So today we have a dear friend, Angela Ahimsa, is a creative entrepreneur who diversifies her talent as an integrative chef and holistic wellness expert. Drawing inspiration from her travels to 34 countries, Angela specializes in integrative wellness, chakra healing, and conscious living. She is the visionary behind Feed Your Chakras and Eat the Rainbow, offering transformative wellness programs that blend vibrant, nutrient-dense recipes with spiritual growth. As a founder of Kindred Kitchens, Angela empowers others to embrace vibrant health and conscious consumption. Her work embodies her passion for creativity, healing, and elevating consciousness. Beyond this, Angela captivates audience as a talented fire dancer, further showcasing her dynamic artistry, which is so true. Thank you for being here. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm great. That was such a beautiful introduction.
Oh,
Honestly,
thank
I was
you.
like, wow, this is the best podcast ever.
I got to walk the talk, Angela. I got to walk the talk. So
you
I am
do.
so excited. Thank you. And you do as well. So it was interesting because we met in Mexico and right away I was like, yeah, she's definitely my kindred spirit. Like I felt like I've known you forever. I'm sure we have in past lives. So I am excited for you to be here to share your amazing knowledge, experience. So we're going to do a series of these and talk about the chakras and how to balance them with food, with lifestyle tips. So I'm really, really excited to start this series off today. So tell us a little bit more, and I read your bio, just a little bit more about your journey and how you got to where you are today.
Well, it's been a long journey. As you mentioned, I did travel to 34 countries, which was really eye-opening. Prior to that, I was like super material driven. Not to say I was like materialistic, but I kind of was. I was just like, I didn't have a strong foundation for my spirituality. In fact, it was almost the opposite. Like I was actually at one point thought I was atheist, believe it or not, because I come from a family, like my dad's side, they had Jehovah's Witness, and on my mom's side, it was very diversified and stuff. And I just didn't understand the conflicts between such similar religions and whatever. So I kind of I thought I was atheist, but it wasn't until I was actually traveling that I was very aware, just with all the miracles I experienced and life-saving moments that like nobody would have known I was gone. I was like, there is somebody looking out for me and there's a greater purpose for me. And that being said, it still was like a big journey where I was overcoming challenges, blocks, and just so many things on my path to self-discovery. But it's ultimately the last 10 years when I moved back to Canada. I was living in Panama, living La Vida Loca. I was modeling, doing all sorts of stuff and diversifying my talents, because every time you move to a new country or you're traveling, like you don't have any construct of who you are. So it's like an opportunity to recreate yourself. And I'm super passionate. So I was like, oh, I like this. I like this. So I was like a different person in every place I went. And in the past 10 years, I moved back because my mother passed. And in these past 10 years, that's really when I got into healing arts and tuning into my spirituality and healing my own traumas. And in doing so, I became a healer. So now I feel like that's like actually my purpose and my calling, and I actually see why everything happened to me, and I'm grateful for it all. So,
well, thank you for sharing. I'm curious because I also traveled to 34 countries, which is the country I know. When I saw that, and
by
we
the
never
way, she
met.
didn't mention she met in Mexico doing a full moon ceremony.
That's
so that was
true.
We were conducting it. Yeah.
Yes.
Which makes it even more magical.
So true. I often get asked this question, which country would you go back to? Because, the world is so vast and so beautiful. So I'm going to ask you this question. Which country would you go back to?
Oh, it's so hard because like I have different connections to each and every one. You know what I mean? Like I go to Mexico a lot now because my dad lives there and a Mexican family. I lived in Panama. I lived in Costa Rica. Although I love Costa Rica, like I obviously I will go back. You know what I mean? Argentina. I was Angela Argentina for almost 10 years.
Oh, wow.
That holds a very special place in my heart, but I'm also like, I'm not her anymore.
So cool.
Bali is not a country, but a place.
Yeah.
But I really, really like I resonated with it. Like I felt like that was, I also did my raw vegan chef training there. But ultimately Asia and Latin America have very special places in my heart. And
Very
the
nice.
tropical weather and stuff like that. Like I literally feel like a Latin girl trapped in this white girl's body. So
I
but
love
yeah,
it.
it's a really big toss up. You could just throw me on either one of those continents and I'd make my way.
And yes, and you'd fit
Yeah.
right in. Interesting. Yeah, I'm the same way. I love the heat, and
Mhm.
yeah, it's just really, really by
And I
some
find
sort of body of water for sure for
maybe,
me.
yeah, maybe that's because like it's warmer climates that I feel like the culture is warmer as well.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And
Yes.
I like that. Like before I lived in Argentina, I was very like cold. Like I didn't know how to like, I would never go up and hug somebody. And there they give
Hmm.
kisses to like strangers, you know? So that was
Yeah.
really like eye opening to me. And like even on the phone, they're like, che, un beso. You know what I mean? Like guys, guys. But now I'm the person. I'm like, oh, I'm a hugger. You know,
Yes.
I feel
Yeah.
like that's actually something that like, you know, people who have traveled or are a little more like
Hmm.
spiritual or healed, like this is actually something that we do need to share, because even just having a hug is so healing, and like we are just not accustomed to it here because it's like almost like
Mm.
taboo. Like they want to touch
Almost
me. Like what the hell? You
closed
know? Yeah,
society. Yeah,
it
that's
is.
so true. That's so true. All right, so I'm excited about this the series that we're going to be starting off today. So maybe if you want to just give a little bit of a background in terms of what are the chakras and what is this system rooted in ancient Indian philosophy, and why why is it important, and why have you focused your whole eating right around it too? So super
Yeah.
excited to get into that as well. So
Um.
maybe just generally, yes, what is
Yeah.
the
So
chakra
yeah,
system?
very very general. The chakras are like, chakra actually translates to wheel, and these are energy centers in our body. And we actually have more than seven. Everybody seems to focus on seven just because those are like the major ones, but there's actually
Hmm.
like 113 in the body. And then we actually have chakras outside of the body. You know, we
Hmm.
have like our star chakra and the earth star chakra and stuff. But the seven major chakras run along the spine. And for anybody that doesn't like correlate to this, you know, you can compare it similar to Maslow's hierarchy of human needs, whereas like each level pertains to a different role that the chakra governs. So your basic survival needs, food, shelter, water, basic primal things, those are root. And then we have like our emotional foundation, which would be the sacral chakra, and that's located under the navel. That's your pleasure, your energy, your sensuality. It's the sex
Hmm.
chakra. And then we have our solar plexus, which is your confidence and self esteem. And that's actually, unfortunately, where most human beings are like vibrating. Like some kind of come up into the heart space, but the problem is like the heart space is actually, so this is third dimension, okay? Like everybody's 3D
Hmm.
materialism, right? And then the heart space is actually the fourth dimension, which nobody talks about. They always say it's 3D to 5D, but this is the gateway. This is the portal, and this is where we can transmute all of the pains and all of these things through learning lessons, through compassion and empathy and understanding and forgiveness. And that's the role of the heart chakra, which actually means unstruck. And so that's
Hmm.
the power of this chakra. And so when we can transcend all of the pains and all of these things and stop blaming and just take accountability and responsibility and be like, I'm going to be a better person because of this, then we come into the higher chakras. So this is truth, communication, expression. Third eye is vision, clarity, intuition, insight, being connected into the higher dimension of your beings to see the truth. Aside from the senses, this is your sixth sense, sixth chakra, sixth sense. And then we have the crown, which actually points up towards the heaven. It is our direct portal to the divine. It's actually where the soft spot is on a baby's head when they're born. And it's where the
Hmm.
soul leaves the body when we cross over. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So
Thank you.
this
And you,
points up and the root points down towards earth.
Earth,
And then
exactly.
everybody else, all the other chakras are going side to side.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that. You know, no one's ever explained it to me in terms of tying it up with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
It's really, really
And it
cool.
actually is like exactly the same, right? So for
Hmm.
anybody who's not into like, oh, that Indian stuff, it doesn't, you know,
Right.
like it's very scientific. So,
Great. So
yeah.
let's dive right into the root. And this is why I'm
Okay.
wearing red for the viewers.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit more about the root chakra and what it symbolizes as well.
Okay. So the root chakra, as I mentioned, it's our base chakra. It's our foundation. and it points down towards earth, and the element is actually earth. The color is red. I mean, that's like a fictional color, but like
Right.
the red actually, it's not fictional because the vibration of it actually is red in color and the frequencies and stuff. But like, it's not like if you're looking inside, you're going to see like a red glowing ball. But that's what we do use to envision when we're trying to focus on this chakra. Being that it is our foundation for safety, security, basic primal needs like food, water, things you need to survive. It can be like imbalanced by a lack in this area. So maybe if you feel you're getting triggered easily, or like you feel like people don't like you. So if you don't feel like you belong, or you don't feel a foundation of love, like familiar love, or physically, like you can get symptoms too, or it'd be like lower back pain or fatigue or digestive issues. But just emotionally feeling disconnected from your body, from other people, or even reality. And since survival depends on finances in this material world that we're all like kind of the illusion that we're all living in, because we actually don't need money. Like we survived way before money did. But in this reality, it actually translates to financial blockages as well. Because we need finances to survive. So a blocked root chakra might, show up as somebody who has like financial stress, or just easily triggered, or feeling ungrounded, or maybe you are unsure about where the direction of your life is going because you don't feel safe, secure, and grounded. Even just your body, it actually is connected to the physical body. And food is actually the thing too that we use to nourish our body.
Right. So these chakra centers could be either balanced, closed, or even maybe too open. Can you maybe talk a
So
little bit
it
about
can
that?
be like a disharmony, like a
Right.
blocked. So some people like I actually prefer the term imbalanced or disharmony, because you can be in lack in certain aspects of it, but like it be functioning in some other parts. And it all really kind of comes down to your foundational years and like what was kind of imprinted on you by like your environment or your parents or society. So we all have different like belief systems and stuff that was imprinted on us. But maybe an imbalance would be like you are enmeshed in your family. And so it's like you are actually kind of like you have a codependent relationship with them, and you're actually like your own like autonomous or like a free sovereign individual, because you can't make decisions without your family like intervening in some way. Or alternatively, it could be like hyper independence, which could be like it's like, maybe you have like fear of abandonment. And so you've learned to cope by being hyper independent. So that's like two opposite ends of the spectrum, where it's just both like severely imbalanced, but often that's triggered by those foundational years.
Right. So something going on there.
Yeah.
So in
So
order to bring,
a lot of our childhood traumas are actually root chakra problems, but they
okay.
can pertain to other chakras too.
Yes.
So it's not just like isolated in one chakra. And this is actually kind of what I'm starting to like uncover through the work that I'm doing with Feed Your Chakra, is that they all kind of tie together, but understanding the role. So like a lot of the foundational stuff that we are dealing with, like childhood traumas and fears, are base chakra related.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And it's interesting too, because a lot of my clients, when they say that they feel a lot of fear and anxiety, it's in that area, whether it's sacral or the root, it's in that area where that feeling sits of anxiousness.
And just feeling
and
like heavy in your body. That's also a big symptom as well. Because when you're in a like higher vibrational self, you're actually lighter.
Yes, exactly. Okay, great. So what are some foods then that can impact balancing, or maybe not balancing, causing this disharmony? Maybe some foods that we should be focusing on, and maybe some that we should be avoiding that can
That's
really
so funny,
impact.
because I literally just made like a post about what could be blocking your root chakra yesterday. I haven't posted it yet, but I did a video on that. Okay, so first we'll focus on what you should be eating.
Okay.
So because food is one of the simplest ways to balance the root chakra, because, there's different roles and stuff that we can do. Eating is actually like food is a thing for nourishing the physical body. Water is also essential to life, but that's actually sacral chakra and that energy. So food. So eating grounding foods like root vegetables, that come directly from the root, or I mean, from the earth. And they're grounding because of this, right? And so like, think of like, sweet potatoes or beets and stuff, and like
Mm-hmm.
roasted. It's like kind of like comfort food, which also kind of creates that sense of like comfort and familiarity and safety and like
Mm-hmm.
coziness, right? Which we all feel safe with. Also, red colored foods like tomatoes, pomegranates, red peppers, they also resonate with this chakra's energy, because the color that we see is actually the frequency of light, and the light is the same light spectrum that correlates to this chakra. So these are good for providing that physical stability, that sense of like comfort, and then the energetic resonance. And also because the root vegetables are like from the earth, it's anchoring. So it's grounding
Mm-hmm.
you energetically and emotional and physically.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of these root vegetables are really in season in the winter. So do you also recommend do the seasons have anything to do with
Well,
this?
not all of them, like root vegetables, yes.
Okay.
Which is kind of funny because that's actually what we naturally crave.
Yeah,
You know what
that's
I mean?
true.
Like we're like, oh my
Mm-hmm.
gosh, it's so cold. I want this like cozy, like sweet potato soup,
Yes.
butternut squash. You know what I mean? Like that's what we actually physically crave. And that's because like this is a time where like, if we weren't in this like modern society, our bodies would naturally be going into like hibernation and stuff. And that's why
Mm-hmm.
we're all so fatigued and exhausted.
Yes.
And we're trying to fight it because we're like in the status quo and the rat race. We're like, oh
Need
my
to
God, I'm
keep
so
up.
tired. I need more coffee. But you actually need to just ground and like come into your body. But if you think about like fruits and stuff, there's a lot of like red fruit. So those are actually like kind of summer. So it's not like, but that's more for like the vitality. And, if you're eating like fresh, vibrant colors and fruits, like it's the vitality of that gives you an energy boost. So it's kind of like different roles for different parts, but also like that's what you are more energized in the summer.
Yeah,
And the just
exactly.
naturally more like you naturally we want to go into hibernation. Like there's places
Mm-hmm.
I keep seeing these posts about like these like Nordic countries and they're like they sleep for 6 months. And I'm like, oh man, I wish I was there.
I wish, I know, but it's true. This year
Gonna
more
put
than
on a
ever,
fire and eat.
I've
Yeah.
really felt, yeah, the fatigue of the winter
Yeah.
fatigue,
A lot of
and
people have lately. Like
Mhm.
it's like I'm like I keep wanting to go to the gym and I'm like, it's so cold.
I know exactly. So, in terms of the root, do you find that? So, do we have to go in order if we want to balance them, or like, what is your opinion? Should we start from
No,
the root, or how does
I
that
feel
work?
like the root is the foundation. And
Mm-hmm.
like, if we have other things that could be like limiting beliefs and stuff, a lot of it comes from the root because
Mm-hmm.
there are like everything comes from your foundation. If you don't have a solid, stable foundation, it's really hard to thrive in other aspects. You can, but having not that unaddressed childhood trauma, it can keep coming up and sabotaging you. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe like you're super successful material. And so it may seem like you have that, but then like you have always felt like you've been a nerd and people didn't like you because you were so smart or like academic or whatever, right? So then you can have that. So maybe you could like self-sabotage because you feel like people are always like conspiring against you or whatever because of your success, like those limiting beliefs or whatever we have as a projection, right? So it is important to address the root, because a lot of those underlying
Yeah.
fears and stuff that we have come from that foundation, and a lot of us are like not even aware that we have them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure, for sure. And
Yeah,
that's the first
and that's
step is
actually
that
why
self
breath work is
awareness.
really good because it kind of creates that like space after you
Yeah.
like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know that was there.
Exactly. So, what are the foods that we should be avoiding in
Oh
order
yes,
to
sorry about
balance?
that. So like alcohol, it is it's actually like a depressant and stuff, and it throws off your energetic balance and also just like your behaviors and stuff, and it wreaks havoc
Mm,
on the immune system. Coffee, kind of for the same reason, like it's creates jitteriness, anxiety, and it creates like crashes in your energy levels, which doesn't lead to like a stable foundation, which is like what
mhm.
chakra is. So
Got
it's
it.
like things that like don't ground your energy. Heavily processed food because it actually contains like GMO or pesticides or artificial colors and ingredients, and all of these things are not derived from nature. And so
Mhm.
it's removing you from source and creator and the thing that is supposed to nourish your root chakra. Also like heavily greasy fried foods, especially ones in like really bad oils, because although like eating something and feeling kind of grounded in your body would be essentially grounding. When you eat something like that, it just makes you like heavy and sluggish, and it's really hard for your body to digest and stuff, which is also a very important process, like elimination.
Of course.
So eating superly heavily fried foods, just because that also brings you into like this stagnancy of energy. And then sugary drinks or sugary snacks, also for the same reason that it spikes your blood sugar levels, causing crashes and imbalances in your energy. It also like affects your organs, your teeth and everything. So it affects your physical body negatively. And oh, there's so many.
What's your favorite recipe for the root chakra?
Oh, well, I don't know. I have a few. I actually made this really delicious soup the other day. I wouldn't say it was my favorite, but it's the most recent that I made. I made it a roasted garlic and tomato soup. It's really quite delicious, simple. But like the red of the tomato, put lots of smoked paprika in it too, so it was nice and smoky. I made a harissa red chili, which was so good. It had roasted red peppers in it. I like roasted stuff because I like that smoky flavor. It had lots of tomatoes, red beans, all sorts of deliciousness. Another thing, if you want something a little bit lighter, I made like these yummy red curry lentil wraps. And so you would probably like these because they're gluten-free and they're very easy to make, and you can keep them in your fridge. You can use them basically like a tortilla.
I love that. I love eating stuff with my hands. That's why I belong.
Yeah. Like, so that's what I thought you would actually like. So
Mexico
there's a lot
or
of different things. Exactly. There's a lot of different things that are red, but those are some that I've just released recently as my recipes. So I can always share one with you.
Yeah, for sure. And yes, we didn't talk about legumes as well. So they're also like the red.
Yeah. Legumes and proteins are also root chakra.
Nice.
And that would also be like one that would throw off like red, like excessive red meat and stuff. Although like it's kind of technically grounding. It once makes you too heavy. And also, like on the energetic level, if you're not eating like high quality stuff, or like, you know, the state of the animal or whatever when you eat it, or even like eating fish and stuff like that, like because we're higher up on the food chain, you have to take into consideration what they're consuming, because that
of course
translates, whether it's like physical stuff or emotional stuff or whatever, it translates into your body. So
yeah, I always say it's not what we eat. It's not only what we eat, right? And in terms of non-GMO and sprayed and organic, it's also what we eat. Right?
Yeah,
because we're ingesting that becomes part of us too. So it's important.
I'd say like everybody thinks of like food in terms of like macros, you know, like proteins, fats, and like fiber and stuff. But I actually think of it as like information, you know? And so they don't talk about this, but like, you know, like corn from this part of the world is different from corn from this part of the world. And if it was grown, you know, from like a farmer and stuff, like all of that stuff, even how something is cooked, like this is all like the macrobiotics, you know, like the energy that goes into it. So I feel like actually my food is super healing, because it's like I put on like my mantras and stuff. It's just a vibe, you know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
And like it's like my biggest medicine. My
sister always asks me, she's like, "Why does this taste so good when you make it?" And my response, and now she makes fun of me, but I'm like, because I made it with love, and it's an
true,
energetic exchange.
Yeah, well, even it's just the intention of like, oh, I want to make this delicious. So you're trying things, you're changing things and stuff. It's like it's an act of love.
It is. I totally agree. I agree with you.
And she's Italian, so she understands this.
Yes. So true. So tell us a little bit more about, in terms of lifestyle tips, maybe. I know you're a yoga instructor as well. So maybe some yoga to open up the root chakra or balance it, some movements or any other lifestyle tips, maybe some mantras or meditations. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay. So there's a lot, like, this is kind of what I cover in my book, but, I feel like physical body, obviously eating is one of the biggest ones you can do, because it really just brings you into your body. Right. Yoga is also really good because it gets things moving. And then there's also specific poses that you can do that really kind of help you to focus on strength and stability and that like foundation. So like a warrior pose or all the warrior poses, even just kind of grounding with like Malasana or like butterfly pose, things that really get your root nice and down. Even child's pose, it's really grounding you. You're kind of surrendering, putting like all of your chakras against the earth. And in terms of other practices, the best thing that I think that anybody can do if you're feeling ungrounded, grounding, taking your shoes off,
Yes.
and just putting your hands and your feet on the earth, because we absorb the negative ions, and it not only like it has been proven to reduce inflammation and like, you know, signs of dis-ease and stuff in the body, but it also really connects you to earth energy. And of course, breathing practices really help release anxiety. That's actually more like kind of like heart chakra and stuff because of the air in the lungs, but it does bring you into your body and relaxes you because it activates the parasympathetic response system. Stuff like drums are actually kind of the that's connected to it, and like lower bones that can like anchor your energy. And of course, gratitude and stuff, like you're taking your mind out of lack, because that's what the imbalance would be. It's like lack, anxiety, fear, worry, and coming that space of like, wow, I have so much to be grateful for. I have so much to be grateful for. I'm grateful for everything I have, but I would be open to more, you know, and like shifting that, right? Rather than like, I need this, I don't have this and stuff. And so that's a really powerful and easy practice that we can all do. And if you're overthinking, a lot of anxiety comes from overthinking. One of the best things you can do is journaling. Because if you're processing, you're releasing, and you can even start to change what it is that you write and start to become grateful and start to put that hope into it, right? Because it's like love is the opposite of fear. So fear, releasing it, and then bringing it into like this place of self-love and what it is that you want, and shifting the focus.
Oh, those are all amazing. And I think, I totally forgot about drumming. It's so good.
Yeah.
So, and it just really, really grounds you. Even just honestly, you can drum anywhere. You don't even need a drum. Just feeling that. Yeah. That rhythm. Really, honestly, those are awesome. So is there a common advice that you give someone that for their root chakra? I'm just curious. There may not be, but is there something that you,
not like, I mean, those would kind of like, the biggest thing I could say is like, try earthing. It sounds so simple. I had a client who had gout, and they were doing some stuff, and they were just getting a little anxious. And I said, honestly, I know it sounds like taboo because they're like, you know, a medical consultant. I was like, try earthing. And they actually started doing it, and they like actually were so astounded with how they noticed that they were healing quicker and stuff like that. It's not exactly ideal to be earthing in Canada right now, because I'm looking outside and it's like white and snowy and stuff. But everybody is different. So some people, like, we all have different learning styles. So some people resonate more with music and sounds, in which case drumming would be a good thing. Like listening to
that's a great point.
And other people, you know, are really into their physical body. So for them, maybe doing a really strong power flow thing to come into their body and release that negativity. So it's like not one fix or one like simple solution for everybody. Everybody's different. And this is actually kind of what I cover in Feed Your Chakras, is like, find what works for you. Find what resonates with you, because like it's always going to be different. Like we all have different traumas, we all have different preferences and like palates, tastes and stuff. So
and even in different stages of our lives, what may have worked
different stages of our personal evolution or spiritual growth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, those are some great points. And you can actually get these grounding mats. I haven't tried them.
Oh, those are so good.
Right?
You can get one like and put it underneath your mattress and stuff, and like you'll just sleep so much better. So
or people that are at their desk a lot, you can actually get it for your desk, right? So really, really cool if you can.
Another thing, as you notice, I have a lot of plants.
Yes, I love that.
Also something, surrounding yourself with nature, even if like you're not like in the woods, like I'm in the middle of Toronto, but my place feels like a jungle, and like my plants thrive because like we have this like relationship where like I love them, you know, and like, you know, they give me oxygen, and it's great.
Yeah, it's true for the people that are listening and not viewing. Yes, it does look like a little jungle. Her background, so cool, and also essential oils.
Yes, essential oils are really good, and crystals. So even wearing like a crystal bracelet or whatever. Red obviously would be the color, so you garnet or whatever kind of stone you want to do. Having that as a bracelet or like a pendant, or even just holding it in your pocket. There's lots of lots of different ways. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, no problem. And it can make some really cute gifts as well. Very
Yes,
thoughtful
exactly.
gifts. I
Yeah.
like that. So yeah, this was amazing. Thank you, Angela. Honestly, so you're such a wealth of knowledge, and I just can't wait for to continue this series. But is there? These are more sort of rapid fire questions. Is there a best advice that you've ever been given that still holds true today, and you tend to share with your clients?
Mm, I feel like just like feel the fear and do it anyway. It's not really like a piece of advice, but it's like a really good quote because like, our fears are the biggest blocks from us tapping into our truth, into our potential. And it's
Mhm.
like what are you afraid of? So if you can like figure out what those fears are, then you can like master your fears. And if you can master your fears, then you can master your life. You're
I
not
like
gonna
that.
have the things holding you back. You're not gonna have, like,
Mhm.
worried about what this person's gonna think about you when they don't even know what the hell they're doing with their own life. You know what I mean? Like, why are we so worried about these other people? What you should be afraid of is staying the same and not growing or evolving or fulfilling your purpose. Because really, like, we've been so programmed to think about all these, like, material things. We need to be this, we need to have this much money, but, like, you're actually here for a soul purpose and an
Mhm.
evolution, and it's like, what would your legacy be? And like, are you in alignment with that? Like, are you taking those steps? And if not, that's your point to readjust. And what's preventing you from doing that? Like for me,
Mm.
a lot of it was like self-worth issues and stuff like that. And so like now I'm just doing it and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna do this. And I kind of like step away. And I think of it more as like an experiment now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
Like
you know
such
what? Like
different
any
perspective.
feedback, yeah, any feedback is not, it's not failure. It's just really feedback to for you
Yeah,
to pivot or maybe surrender to something else, or maybe this wasn't it, or you had to try this and
exactly.
fail at it in order to realize, hey, I'm actually meant for something different or
Well,
something else.
exactly, because the failure is actually like an opportunity to grow and to learn and to
Hmm.
pivot. And also it's like, we're always so afraid. Well, I don't want to project onto everybody. Like a lot of people are so worried about like, upsetting people, but like you're naturally going to do that anyways. I trigger people all the time and I'm like, I'm literally sharing like a positive post. I don't know how you like took this so negatively or whatever, but they're projecting their own stuff onto me and their own woundings. And it's like, you can just respond to that with love or like create your distance, you know?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you can't control how other people are going to perceive you. And everybody is going to judge you anyway. So just do the things you were meant to do.
I like that. That is so
That's
true.
what they think.
It's so true. Is
Yeah.
there an influential book that you've read, or maybe even something that you're recently reading?
I've read a lot of books, but I'll tell you one that had like the most profound impact on my life, and it's kind of
Hmm.
weird. So I was traveling in Thailand, and I usually only read books if they kind of come to me through like a recommendation or it stands out or whatever. So I was recommended the book Eat, Pray, Love. Okay,
Okay.
and I was traveling in Thailand, and the book is a little different than the movie, but there were some examples in that, and that literally changed my life. Remember how I was talking about like miracles and stuff happening to me while I was
Hmm.
traveling? Like this was the first one that I was like, wow, there's a God, And
Hmm.
I experienced like the craziest thing that's like literally like your worst fear. I lost all of my stuff, like my passport, like my money belt. I lost it. And
Oh,
it's just me being like super distracted and whatever. And I was reading that book at the time. Okay. And that's actually, I was going to go to the beach to read the book when I lost all the stuff. Okay. And I was doing it and I was just kind of picking stuff up. And then I wanted to go take my laundry down. I was like literally like trying to multitask too many things. I wasn't present. I was distracted and whatever. And so I went and finally got to the laundry place and I didn't have my money belt. And I realized this, and the guy's like, I'm trying to go pay him. And I'm like, oh my God, no money, no money. And I started freaking out. And like, I was running around, like trying to retrace my steps, bawling my eyes out. It literally had every single thing I would need to survive. Okay. So it was completely ungrounding. I'm in Thailand, in the south of Thailand, no
wow.
passport, no identification, no visa. All of my like cash was in that money belt, like everything you're not supposed to do. I like did, right? And I had this European couple. They didn't really speak English, but they heard me say passport, and the man's running around trying, like, all these people were trying to help me. Okay, I realized that, and I was like a freaking out. And then the Thai guy was like, he didn't understand English, but he wanted to help me. So we got on his little scooter. He closed his shop, and he drove me around from place to place to place, and
That's so nice.
talking to people in Thai, which I didn't understand. And And then he said somebody saw somebody and they were like talking about this shirt. So this guy kept driving me to all these different hotels and speaking on my behalf. And I was just watching because I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't understand what he was saying. And then we went to all these different polices. We went to like the regular police, and then we went to the traffic police, and then we went to the tourist police. And then I finally got a handwritten police report that I was supposed to take to Bangkok. How, I don't know. And so then the guy took me to go eat afterwards, and I was so upset in my stomach. And I was like, oh my God, like, how did I do this to myself? Like, this is not my destiny. I can't do this. And I remembered an example from that book where she was writing a letter to the universe right before she got divorced because her husband wasn't going to sign. And then they decided that she'd write a letter and disagree why it was better for the entire universe that he signed. And then they were like, Oprah Winfrey's going to sign that. JF Kennedy is going to sign that, like summoning all these energies. So I kind of did that. I was like sitting there. I'm like, okay, I'm getting on that plane on February 15th and I'm going back to work. And I was like, this person wants me to be back there. This person does. And then I got this idea and it was like, they were talking about a shirt. And so I realized that it was something about the shirt and like he was trying to identify this shirt for whatever reason. So I was like, what color was the shirt? And he didn't know. So he took me back. I made him take me back to those two ladies. And my money belt was there. Somebody returned it, got the word, and everything was in it. And that was just the beginning of the miracles.
Wow, that's so
But it was
amazing.
just like, it was so incredible. And like, since then, like I've literally been guided and protected so many things. And I realized that I'm actually my own worst enemy. And like it actually completely like, and not that I was ever like afraid of people and stuff, but I actually realized like the world is a beautiful place if you let it be.
Yes. And there's so many people that are willing to help if you ask for help and are open to receiving help.
Yes. Right? And they wouldn't even take my money. Like it was just so, and so anyways, lots of other things happened on that trip that like strengthened the serendipitous miracles and stuff that like I experience every day now. But at that time, I was totally like Matrix, like, and I was like, it was like the Matrix was like opening little things and I was like going through.
Yeah.
And it was so exciting because I was open to everything. I was on a trip by myself. So
yeah, those are always the best. So much learning, so much development. I love it too.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a great story. And I do love the book. And you're right, it is quite different. So I do urge, if you love the movie, you'll love the book even more for sure. It's a lot of cool golden nuggets in there too. So what are your top 3 non-negotiable self-care habits, particularly within sort of the root, how to balance, keep that root chakra balanced? Your favorite?
Eating, obviously. I'm an integrative nutrition chef. And breath work is also really good. And I feel like for me, I'm always listening to drums, like whether it's like hand, like I'm obsessed with that. And it just creates this calming vibe. Like everybody, if we weren't on a thing, I'd probably have that music going on right now. And it's really relaxing and it just soothes you. And it's like healing, it's medicine music. So those are my 3 things that I definitely think doing. Like I'm obviously a yoga teacher. I'm really into the physical body. But food first and primary, because it really brings you in and nourishes your vessel. Like if you don't have a healthy vessel, then it's really
you can't do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. I love that.
Breath is essential to life, and like it activates or stimulates the sympathetic parasympathetic response. And then sound. It's like we are vibration. Everything in this universe is vibration. So doing something that can ground you is really, really good.
I like that. You just reminded me to pull out my drum, and I used to do it every morning.
We should do a little drum. I got a drum too.
I know. We should have done that. Maybe I'll start it with maybe I'll do the beginning meditation with a bit of drumming. Well, thank you for that. Amazing. Nice. Yeah. So tell us about your legacy. What do you want to be known for, Angela?
Okay, so kind of funny because feed your chakras. It's been like an evolution, and I actually had this idea a long time ago, and then I never went through with it because I was blocked myself. You know what I mean? But it's so funny because I also I used to never really remember my dreams, and it's weird because people would get dreams and then tell me that I was in their dream and like messages. And I even had this one girl who was like in yoga teacher training with me, and she's like, Angela, I had this dream. And it was like I was being shown that you have this, like, you're making this like sacred, like book of life and you're supposed to do it. And this was in like 2019. And I was like, I know that. It's crazy. So this book, it's like, I feel like it is my legacy, but the intention behind the book, it's actually 7 books. So there's it's a focus on each chakra. But the intention is that I want to help raise human consciousness and the vibration to the heart space, because we are actually keeping ourselves stuck in these like dynamics and this society and like these politics and all these things that are actually aren't serving humanity. They aren't really helping us. In fact, a lot of times you can even say they're like harming us more than they're doing good, right? You can take that to your own extent however you will. But the thing is, a lot of it is because of past circumstances. And the only moment there actually is in the present. And this is our chance when we come into our higher selves to let go of all what the ancestors did, to let go of all that trauma, to let it go and come into a place where it's like, we want to help heal ourselves and help heal one another. And that comes from forgiveness, and it comes from compassion, and it comes from mutual understanding and respect. Maybe you're not going to like agree on everything, but you can like agree to disagree peacefully.
Yeah.
And when we do that and we stop competing, even like the capitalistic society where we're like exploiting things, like that is not like in our higher selves, right? That comes from a place of greed and ego and stuff. And everybody can manifest, but the problem is most people manifest from a place of ego. What if like the Maharishi effect is like when everybody intentionally meditates, it's been shown to create really big waves where crime rates are reduced and just like you can feel and actually measure the energy. Imagine we were all doing that collectively, and we went from competing to collaborating to evolve humanity rather than suppress it, because everything has been suppressing us, and it's because we don't know our true power.
Right. And everybody wins. And everybody wins, right?
I know. And then people can't grasp that because they're so like, oh, but I want to win, right? You actually imagine like how much further, like every time we like somebody does reach their potential, inspire somebody else to reach their potential. And we keep expanding the evolution of what we're capable of. We don't even know what we're capable of because we've been being suppressed.
We become that role model.
So that's what I want to do. That's a pretty big goal, but I at least want to like take that first step. And maybe if I don't do it in my lifetime, it'll start that snowball effect of us achieving.
Oh, you're doing it. You're doing it. Give yourself some credit. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
So where can people connect with you? Where's the best way?
Well, I'm actually redoing my website because it was angelaargentina.com. It's going to be Angela Ahimsa, Ahimsa. And I'm on TikTok as Angela_Ahimsa. Same with YouTube and same with Instagram.
Amazing. So you are everywhere and easily accessible. And I urge our viewers and listeners to tune in to her amazing videos. And yes, you are definitely an artist. Every time I look at you with the fire dancing, like, yes, definitely not fearful for sure. Yeah. Super, super talented. I love your stories. You're such a great storyteller. I can listen to you forever, but I do want to respect your time and our time as well. But I cannot wait to have you back and talk about the rest of the chakra. So we'll continue this series, and I'm excited to learn more. I already picked up some really cool nuggets, and I thought I knew a lot about the 7 energy centers. So thank you so much for your beautiful energy. You're so amazing. And I'm so grateful.
Thank you everybody for listening.
Thank you. Have a beautiful rest of the day.
Namaste.
Thank you for tuning in to the Self-Care Goddess podcast. If today's episode inspired you, share it with another woman who's ready to reclaim her vitality and lead from within. To continue your journey, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and connect with me on ritasavoya.com. Until next time, remember, self-care isn't selfish, it's your superpower. Take a deep breath in, exhale, and keep rising. Ciao for now.